And then that's where we can get to even comparing to the Simone Biles versus Riley Gaines situation. You know, am I able to
Mm.
are you going to put this on YouTube? Can I use certain words or is that going to demonetize you? Is that
I usually put it on YouTube, so I don't know
okay?
what I don't know
So
what the words
I
are.
think in general, I try to be careful too with if you're throwing this stuff on YouTube. I don't want obviously what it comes down to is there's unfair competition in women's sports. That's what we're
Oh, I
seeing.
see.
And um, we know that what is happening from a foundational level, it is anti-God. And people like Simone Biles, they're talking about competitive equity. Sports are not about diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Yeah.
Even from a young age, you know, boys and girls sports is still unfair. But when we definitely get to
Hmm.
that higher competition, it is wildly unfair. And it will always be unfair. And if you have one of the biggest female athletes in the history of sports, in the history of the world, is saying she's fighting for competitive equity, competition is not about equity. Sports are about meritocracy. The
Yep.
best athlete wins the gold. The best team wins the gold. The best athlete is going to get that roster spot. The best coach should be getting the coaching position. And when we get down to, like I was mentioning earlier, there's something called the Rooney Rule in the NFL. They implemented this rule where every single NFL team needs to not hire, but interview at least, I'm pretty sure it's at least one minority, whether that is an ethnic minority or a female. And they can get compensation just like the New England Patriots did for hiring Gerard Mayo because he's black. I can't think of anything more demoralizing than thinking, am I just getting invited to this interview because of an immutable characteristic? That is so stupid. That's not what sports are for. Sports are about meritocracy. And what do kids learn? And we all learn when we play sports: sportsmanship, teamwork, foundational aspects of life that for a long time employers are like, you know what? You played high level sports. I actually want you to be a part of my team. I want you to be a part of this company because you know what it's like to be selfless. You know what it's like to be on a football team. I played D2 football, nothing to write home about, nothing amazing. I played at Azusa Pacific, but I loved it. And I understood what it was like to sacrifice for a team that the 11 guys on offense and defense are only as good as their weakest link. You can have 10 guys on defense, play unbelievable, but if that cornerback is asleep, that guy just ran a streak down the sideline and caught that 50-yard touchdown pass. Everybody else did their job, but you were the weak link, and now it makes the whole defense look bad. So hopefully people start to understand that sports need to get back to that. And then even from just a viewership perspective, we are so sick and tired of hearing, stuff like what we're seeing in the WNBA. Like the race
Hmm.
conversation and pettiness and jealousy that we're seeing in that league is absolutely insane. I've never seen a league try to sabotage the ability to be profitable for the first time in the history of the WNBA. I've never seen a company or organization try to sabotage their, you know, basically their money bag. Caitlin Clark, it is absolutely insane what we're seeing, but it does, again, as much as I hate it, hopefully it leads to an inflection point that maybe all this race talk is stupid. Maybe there is all this talk about white privilege is a load of nonsense. Maybe
Hmm.
sports are about meritocracy. Maybe people like Caitlin Clark because she's done stuff that people have never seen in the WNBA. And people have never seen in women's college basketball. That's what it's about. And that's why, obviously, I'm still appreciative that God's given me a platform to speak out against this stuff because hopefully during this time, we won't look back years from now and be like, wow, I really wish I would have said something. And if I would have said something and push back against the talking heads at ESPN, maybe we wouldn't be, watching another broadcast where, it's everything is just so racially infused and everything. And especially to another degree is the women's sports thing where, there's a lot of people pushing back. Riley Gaines is a good friend of mine. And congratulations to them. They're pregnant with a baby on the way. That's so exciting. Um, but there's a lot of people working really hard to fight against the racial nonsense that's being talked about, the inequality in sports when it comes to men and women in sports. There's a lot of craziness going on, and it's a crazy time.